Hi, I'm Norm Rasmussen. We're going to share bear story number 2 on this video clip. Thought I'd preserve these stories for my grandkids and their grandkids and on down the family tree line, just to have them preserved in case somebody ever would want to listen to them. Now, if you heard bear story number 1, the first time I ever was close to a black bear in a tree, or close to a black bear period, I went out a number of times with Laverne Happenstall. I was still living down in Ashland, Oregon. That's down in southern Oregon, going to college there at Southern Oregon College. And Laverne Happenstall was a taxidermist at the time. This was around 1972, 73 area, I guess. And he had bear dogs. He had some excellent bear dogs. He knew what he was doing. He would take people out on occasion and let them shoot a bear, and then he'd process the hide. He did that for wealthy clients to make some extra money back when he had a few black bears, and it was legal to do. And but anyway, he was letting me tag along with him. Hopefully I could get some photographs of black bears. And I wanted to be an aspiring outdoor writer, but I needed photographs, and so anyway, it was exciting. But I was not getting any photographs for all kinds of different reasons. I hadn't yet to get any photographs of a bear in a tree. And so it was getting desperation time. Well, we went out. There was a young boy and his dad, Hap, took him out, and they got on a bobcat track and treed the bobcat, and the kid shot the bobcat, and we got pictures of that. That wasn't all that exciting. I didn't particularly care to even be a part of that, to be honest, but it came along with the package. So at any rate, the kid and the father left, and then we continued and finally ran across a bear track that had crossed the road, and it was just a small bear track, but it was a bear, and so Hap turned the dogs loose, and boy, it treed not too far away. So we got up to the tree. Well, the tree happened to be almost a small redwood tree. It was a Doug fir tree, I guess, but this thing was huge. It was tall and huge. And so there was no way I was going to be able to get photographs of that bear at the top of that tree. No way. Too far away. Well, Hap says, here's what we can do if you want to do this. Okay? We go to plan B. So we go over about 100 yards or so, 150 yards, build a fire, and let's hang around that fire, get all warmed up, and we'll tie the dogs up by the fire so they can't get loose, and we'll wait till daybreak. Okay? And Norm, here's what you can do, because here's what will happen. That bear will stay up in that tree most likely until about daybreak. And then what he'll do is he'll poke around, looking around that tree, and see if everything looks safe to him, and that as long as the dogs are tied up, the bear will assume that everything's okay with the dogs, and we'll stay right over here by the fire and let him see us, and let him come to the conclusion that he's safe. And what he'll do is he'll slowly slip down the backside of that tree, and if you circle around and quietly come up at the base of that tree, have your camera ready, have your flash bulb ready, have everything ready, and when that tree gets down at the distance you want to take a photograph, you'll have your photograph. Well, I figured about 10, 12 feet up the tree was about as close as I wanted to get to that bear. Now, I had no telephoto capability with me on that camera, so I needed to get him close enough to where it would be fill up the frame quite nicely. But I don't want to get him too close to me because I didn't want to be eaten by that bear. But I figured Hap was setting me up. This guy was a prankster, always looking for a laugh, and I thought he was setting me up. I tell Hap, you got to be crazy. You want me to stand at the bottom of that tree? We had no weapons, okay, not on us. And you want me to stand at the base of that tree and wait for that bear to come down, Then when he gets in focus at the position then you want me to yell, hey, and then he'll turn around and look at me, and then I got to click the picture right when he looks at me, because then he's going to panic. But you tell me he's going to run up that tree again? You telling me he's going to run back up that tree and not come down that tree and attack me? He said, no, that bear ain't going to attack you. He's afraid of you. Besides that, he's just a cub. You know, he's more afraid of you than you are if he is you. He's more afraid of you than you are of him. Believe that. I'm not that stupid, Hap. Yeah, we ain't going to do that. Oh, he said, I wouldn't let you be harmed. He said, I wouldn't let no bear purposely attack you. You'd be all right. Yeah, okay. He knew I needed a picture bad. So sure enough, I slip way around, circle around through the woods and come in the backside and get down the base of that trail. Sure enough, right at daybreak, sure enough, that little old bear, he was way up top of that tree. He'd look around one side, peek around, and then he'd scooch down a little bit, and then he'd peek around a little bit, and then scooch down and peek around. So that's the way he started slowly backing down that tree. Come down a few feet, look, everything looked safe. Come down a few more feet, look to the other side of the tree, everything was safe. And he did that just coming down this huge tree. Well, here this old bear is getting into range. Of course, my old heart, it's a beating like crazy, because what if this is a one time this bear decides not to go back up the tree, but come down? And if he comes down and I'm in his way, not good. So here he's coming down, my old hands are shaking. This isn't buck fever, this is bear fever, okay? Oh my, but I got to show I'm brave to my buds, you know. I got to show that I can't be, you know, intimidated by no little cub bear. So, well, he wasn't really small. I mean, the bear probably weighed 80, 90 pounds, maybe 100 pounds. And so this bear's coming down, and he thinks he's got it whipped now. He thinks he's about ready to get home and take off, and you know, he'll be good, he's thinking. So I got one flash bulb. I'd used up all of my flash bulbs, so I got one flash bulb yet, but you're only going to get one picture anyway, so it doesn't matter about having two flash bulbs. If you had them, it wouldn't matter. You're only going to get one picture. And he's coming down, he gets into range about 12 feet. Man, he's just a little black dot on this big old wide tree. It was so big. And right when everything was ready, hey! And he turns around and looks at me, not having a clue that I was there, and click, the flash bulb goes off, hallelujah. And which way did that bear go? That bear went up that tree so fast, he was peeling bark and breaking limbs, heading up that tree. I'll tell you what, in record speed, he made it up to the top of that tree. But I didn't know that because when I clicked the camera, I turned around and went running the other way, just in case, and went and hid behind the first big tree I could find. Well, then I could see that bear. He'd already been to the top, okay? So all was well. And it ended up, long story short, I got a fantastic picture of that bear turning around looking at me, and his old eyes were this big. He was freaked. And that light hit his eyes and reflected off, and big old glowing eyes, you know, there in a barely breaking day in the woods up there. But that was an exciting moment, and it was funny, it was hilarious, and of course we let the bear go. You know, we had no reason. Most of the trees that bear, most of the bears most of the bears that Hap treed, he just let them go. He just did it for sport and let the dogs run, and so it was all just fun. Okay, let the bear go, and it was great. That was the only bear picture I ever got of the many times I had a chance to go out and hunt. We went out a lot of times, didn't see bear. Okay, it wasn't like there was a lot of bear left to tree, so it was one of the most special times in my life. Exciting. I'll tell you what, I came to the conclusion, bear hunters are the most, they're animals. These guys, they cross streams, soaking wet, freeze themselves, walk through canyon walls, up and down across precipices. They do crazy and wild stuff for their sport. I love. These guys are rugged. Don't mess with bear hunters. Okay? They're a tough breed. Well, thanks for listening to my story. I hope this blessed somebody. Okay? Take care.